When you think of Stoic philosophy, names like Marcus Aurelius and Seneca probably come to mind. But what if I told you that some of the most powerful Stoic teachings came from women whose names have been almost completely erased from history? Women who faced unimaginable hardships, yet developed wisdom so profound it could change your life today? In the next 10 minutes, I'm going to introduce you to 3 extraordinary women who embodied Stoic principles centuries before it was cool, and show you how their forgotten lessons can transform the way you handle modern challenges. Here's the thing about ancient history. It was written almost exclusively by men, about men. But if you dig deeper, you'll find remarkable women who lived by Stoic principles, often in circumstances far more challenging than their male counterparts. These women didn't have the luxury of writing philosophical treatises in comfortable studies. They were fighting for survival, protecting their families, and leading through crises, all while embodying the core Stoic virtues of wisdom, justice, courage, and temperance. And here's what's fascinating. Their stories aren't just ancient history. The challenges they faced, loss, betrayal, powerlessness, social pressure, sound remarkably familiar to what we deal with today. Let me tell you about Porcia Catonis, daughter of the famous Stoic philosopher Cato the Younger. Now, Portia lived through one of the most turbulent periods in Roman history, the fall of the Republic. In 44 BCE, her husband Brutus, yes, that Brutus who killed Caesar, was plotting the assassination. But here's where it gets interesting. Portia noticed her husband was acting strangely, staying up late and having secret meetings. Instead of gossiping or panicking, she did something extraordinary. She intentionally wounded herself with a knife to prove she could handle whatever secret he was keeping. When Brutus found her, she said, "I share your bed and your table, but if I cannot share your troubles, in what way am I truly your wife?" But here's the real Stoic lesson. After Caesar's assassination, when everything fell apart and Brutus had to flee Rome, Portia was left behind. She faced interrogation, threats, and the complete collapse of everything she'd known. According to historical accounts, she remained composed, never betrayed her husband's allies, and faced each day with what Stoics call preferred indifference, accepting what she couldn't control while focusing on what she could, her character, her responses, her dignity. Think about this. How many times have you felt left out of important decisions in your own life? Portia's response wasn't to become bitter or helpless. She demanded to be included, proved her strength, and when crisis hit, she remained unshakable. That's practical Stoicism in action. Now let me introduce you to Julia Domna, a woman who went from Syrian nobility to becoming one of the most powerful people in the Roman Empire. And she did it by mastering what Stoics call the discipline of action. Julia married Emperor Septimius Severus, but she wasn't just a ceremonial wife. She became his closest advisor, accompanying him on military campaigns, something almost unheard of for Roman empresses. When he died, she found herself caught between her 2 sons, Caracalla and Geta, who were literally trying to kill each other for power. Here's where it gets dark. Caracalla murdered Geta in Julia's arms. Imagine that trauma. Your son killing your other son while you're holding the victim. Most people would break completely. But Julia Domna embodied what Marcus Aurelius wrote. "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." She didn't retreat into grief. She channeled her energy into becoming the power behind the throne, managing the empire's affairs while her surviving son focused on military campaigns. She patronized philosophers, funded public works, and essentially ran the administrative side of the Roman Empire. Ancient sources describe her as having masculine courage, which was their way of saying she was incredibly tough and decisive. Julia Domna shows us something crucial about Stoicism. It's not about suppressing emotions or becoming cold. It's about processing trauma and loss, then asking, what can I do with this pain that serves a greater purpose? She transformed personal tragedy into public service. How many of us, when we face loss or betrayal, ask ourselves, how can I use this experience to help others or contribute something meaningful? That's the Stoic discipline of turning obstacles into opportunities. Our final story is about Fannia, granddaughter of a Stoic martyr and wife of another. This woman was exiled from Rome 3 separate times for her political beliefs. and her response reveals something profound about Stoic resilience. Fannia was married to Helvidius Priscus, a senator who constantly challenged imperial authority. When he was executed for his principles, Fannia could have stayed quiet, remarried someone politically safer, and lived comfortably. Instead, she chose to honor his memory by supporting other political dissidents. Every time she was exiled, she used it as an opportunity to network with other exiles, share resources, and build what we might today call an underground resistance network. But here's what makes her truly Stoic. According to Pliny the Younger, who knew her personally, Fannia never complained about her exiles. She treated them as preferred indifference, things that weren't ideal, but also not inherently good or bad. She once said something remarkable: "My exile is not my punishment. My exile is my education." She used every setback as a chance to develop new skills, meet new people, and deepen her understanding of what truly mattered. Think about this in modern terms. How many of us, when we lose a job, end a relationship, or face a major setback, ask ourselves, what is this situation trying to teach me? How can I use this disruption to become stronger or more skilled? Fannia shows us that resilience isn't just bouncing back, it's bouncing forward, using adversity as a catalyst for growth. So, what can these forgotten women teach us about living better today? 3 key lessons. First, like Portia, demand to be included in your own life. Don't accept being sidelined from decisions that affect you. Prove your strength and reliability. Second, like Julia Domna, transform your pain into purpose. When you face loss or trauma, ask yourself, how can I use this experience to serve something bigger than my own comfort? Third, like Fannia, treat setbacks as education. Every exile, every rejection, every failure is data about what works and what doesn't. Use it to become more skilled and more connected. These women didn't have the privilege of writing philosophy books or giving lectures. They had to live their Stoicism in real time, under pressure with real consequences. And that's exactly what makes their examples so powerful for us today. These stories have been buried for centuries, but they don't have to stay that way. If one of these women's stories resonated with you, leave a comment telling me which one and why. And here's your challenge. This week, when you face a difficult situation, ask yourself, what would Portia, Julia, or Fannia do? Use their examples to guide your own response. If you want to discover more forgotten figures from history who can change how you think about life, make sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell. Trust me, there are so many more stories like these waiting to be told. Remember, you don't need to be famous to be Stoic. You just need to be brave enough to face your challenges with wisdom, courage, and purpose. These women proved that over 2,000 years ago, and you can prove it today.